My name is Marissa, I'm 23, and people won't stop asking me what happened between me and Daniel. Honestly, I'm tired of explaining myself to people who weren't even there. The truth is, this whole thing is far more complicated than anyone wants to understand. Before we dive into this story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Now, let's get into it. I met Daniel at a rooftop party about 4 months ago. A mutual friend, Naomi, introduced us. At first, he seemed sweet, gentle, attentive, and very into physical touch, which I liked because that's my love language. He was always planning thoughtful outings, concerts, little weekend festivals, movies, even a 5-day beach trip that was actually a lot of fun. He was polite, well-mannered, always opening doors, covering the bill, paying attention to small details I'd mentioned in passing. Every morning he'd text me good morning without fail, checking in constantly, dropping whatever he was doing if I needed something. On paper, it all sounded perfect. But after a while, it started to feel like too much pressure. Daniel was reliable, predictable, too predictable. By Tuesday, I already knew how our weekend would play out. Friday movie night at his apartment, brunch at the same cafe on Saturday, a walk in the park on Sunday. He never wanted to be spontaneous. If I suggested trying something wild or last minute, he'd shut it down with worries about money, timing, or practicality. My friends kept telling me I was lucky, that he was such a catch, but they didn't see what it was like day to day. Sure, he was kind and steady, but where was the spark? Where was the butterflies in your stomach feeling? At 23, I thought I should be chasing adventures, not settling into some routine that felt like early retirement. I started noticing other guys when we went out, their confidence, their mystery, things Daniel lacked. Even his friends bored me. They were decent guys, but spending an evening with them felt like I was fast-forwarding into middle age. That's when I downloaded dating apps. I told myself it wasn't to cheat, just to look, to see what was out there. Soon enough, I matched with someone named Marcus. From his photos alone, I knew he was nothing like Daniel. He had tattoos, rode a motorcycle, carried himself with confidence. His messages were flirty, direct, not clingy. Unlike Daniel's constant texts, Marcus sometimes took hours to reply, and instead of annoying me, it hooked me even more. After a few weeks of talking, I agreed to meet Marcus for coffee. Just coffee, or at least that's what I told myself. But the moment I saw him in person, I knew I was in trouble. He was confident, bold, almost cocky. Hours slipped by in conversation, and when he invited me back to his place, I went without hesitation. Being with him was everything Daniel wasn't: intense, passionate, unpredictable. That's how it started. I began meeting Marcus whenever Daniel was at work. Daniel trusted me so completely, he never questioned a thing. Ironically, that blind trust only made me feel more distant, as if I wasn't even valuable enough for him to worry about losing. With Marcus, there was risk, excitement, the kind of tension that made me feel alive. Daniel, meanwhile, was still showing up with flowers, still planning quiet date nights, still being endlessly considerate, and it felt suffocating. I started picking fights with Daniel over little things: restaurants, movie choices, even future plans. The truth was, I was already halfway out the door. 2 months into my double life, Daniel asked what was wrong. He wanted to have serious talks, to fix things, but that only made me more frustrated. Marcus, on the other hand, told me straight up, if I wasn't happy, I should just leave my boring boyfriend. So one night, when Daniel finally sat me down for that deep conversation, I told him the truth. I admitted I'd been seeing Marcus for 2 months, that I wasn't happy, that I needed something he couldn't give me. He didn't scream, didn't fight, didn't demand answers. He just looked devastated, asking quietly what he had done wrong. To me, that lack of fire only confirmed I'd made the right decision. A real man, I thought then, would have fought for me. The next morning, Daniel had blocked me on everything: phone, social media, even apps I hadn't thought about. Just like that, he was gone. I moved in with Marcus not long after. His place was messy, chaotic, full of half-finished projects, bottles, and clutter. But to me, that felt real and alive, the opposite of Daniel's spotless apartment. At first it was thrilling. Marcus brought spontaneity: surprise concert tickets, random road trips, nights that never followed a script. But slowly, the cracks started to show. He wasn't financially stable, and I ended up paying for more than I ever expected. He wasn't as communicative either, which at first felt like freedom compared to Daniel's constant check-ins. but eventually felt like neglect. He grew moody, suspicious, checking my phone, questioning me if I was late. Our fights escalated. He'd yell, throw things, accuse me of cheating. The passion I once craved turned into fear. The breaking point came during a fight when he grabbed my wrist hard enough to leave bruises. He apologized the next morning, blaming the alcohol, swearing it would never happen again. But I couldn't shake the thought that Daniel had never made me feel unsafe. Not once. 6 months later, I left Marcus. I moved back in with my parents at 24, humiliated and broken. My parents, who had liked Daniel, didn't say "I told you so," but their silence said enough. Meanwhile, Daniel was thriving. Through friends, I heard he'd gotten a promotion, joined a gym, even started dating someone new. Hearing about his new girlfriend crushed me. She seemed perfect, supportive, kind, appreciative of all the qualities I'd taken for granted. When I learned they were engaged 2 years later, I couldn't stop crying. I sent him a long message from a fake account, pouring out my regret, explaining everything. He never replied. I even showed up at his wedding, standing across the street, watching him smile like I had never seen him smile before. His bride was radiant, and together they looked like they belonged in a way he and I never had. That was the moment I knew he was gone for good. Now, I'm 28, living in Houston, and I can't stop thinking about him. I see photos of his growing family, his beautiful wife, his little boy, and I know I'll never be part of that life. Everyone tells me I need to move on, that clinging to the past is unhealthy. But they don't understand. Daniel wasn't just an ex. He was the one person who showed me what real love looked like, and I threw it away. I thought I deserved more, something exciting, but all I did was sabotage the best thing I ever had. Some mistakes can't be undone, and mine was choosing chaos over love. Now I live with the consequences. I'm the cautionary tale, the girl who had everything and lost it because she didn't recognize its value until it was gone.